Hello everybody, my name is Xana. I have been making videos in my YouTube channel for more or less 2 years. These videos are in Spanish and they are about weekly forecasts or monthly forecasts, and sometimes for about the new moons and the full moons. And I also started a project about teaching astrology that is stopped by now. And there was in my mind the idea of offering my videos, my knowledge about astrology in English, because I know some people that are interested in astrology and they don't speak very good Spanish. So I think it's a pity that language is a barrier, and I have decided to start this new series of videos in English. Unfortunately, I have been with a shortage of time for a long time, more than I wanted, and I want to make sure that I am going to start offering my videos in English, and I'm going to keep on making the videos. So for the first time at the beginning, I am only going to make monthly forecasts in general, not specifically for each sign. At least this video is going to be like that. Maybe next video, or I don't know, 2 months after, maybe I could have enough time to make the forecast not only in general but for each sign. But at least by now I'm going to start making monthly forecasts in general, talking about the landscape of the planets in the sky. And I hope that you enjoy these videos. Of course, I appreciate your comments, because one thing that I was afraid of was that you know that it's not the same speaking your own language than speaking in another language, because the hues of the words, it's sometimes difficult to get. So I'm not sure if I am going to get my message the way that I really want to. But anyway, it's a project that I was in my mind, as I told you, for a long time, and I am really happy, and I was really looking forward to do it, because it's a challenge for me. And I think now is the moment. Now I am started this project with new moon in Aquarius, and in the 4th of February or the 5th of February, depending on the place where you are. And I hope you like this video, and I hope that it's going to be the beginning of a new chapter, of a new adventure. So let's start with the monthly forecast of February of 2019. This month is a very special one, because it's the last month that Uranus is going to be into Aries. Uranus is a planet that is about change. Uranus is the planet associated to Aquarius, and the change that Uranus is bringing is a change that is very much related to updating. You know, Uranus is the sign and the energy of all the changes in society, all the new technologies. So Uranus is it's very much related to changes that are necessary, because our present is now in a way that make us necessary to stop doing some things that are now old, and it's inviting us to do some things that are more appealing to us. The fact that Uranus is in Aries means that all the change is being applied in Aries, and Aries is the sign of the energy, is the sign that is related to the way that we express ourselves, especially when we are into a battle, the way that we manage to get angry or to stand our position. But in a more open way, Aries is about our personality, the way that we just are, or we just start to present to the world. So for several years, Uranus has made us uh, or has put us in a way that we have to change the way that we are presented to the world. The thing is that Uranus has been into Aries for since 2012, sorry, and last year, 2018, from May more or less and until November, Uranus has changed its position. So we had, let's say, a break, and from November of last year until now, and especially until next month, the first days, Uranus is still in the same place in Aries. So it's the last month that we have the chance to make all the changes that we need to make in order to update what we are. All of you can have experienced some changes in the way that we need to argue, the way that we were supposed to fight, or just to stay present in our lives. And that means that we are not the same person that we used to be before 2012. That means that there are some things that were really old, and we had to quit, but there are some things that we are more willing to take. Uranus in Aries, it's about the way that we are introducing ourselves. So it's good that this month we just make the most of this energy and start to experience ourselves in different ways of presenting ourselves. For example, if we meet someone new, or if we have a job interview, or if we just go outside and start to talk to someone, it's good that we do it in a different way. It's also good if this thing we do it in with our clothes. Aries is not really about clothes, but it's about the energy that we are presenting to the world. But the energy that we are presenting to the world is related to the personality, but it's also related to the image that we are giving. So in a way, it's a good month to make the most of this energy. And if we have the impulse to make some change in the way that we are dressing, then it's good to do it, or to change our hair, or change our makeup, or whatever. It's good to do it, because it's the last time that Uranus is in this sign, in this energy, and it's the best way to use this energy. I'm not talking very much about Uranus in Aries, because I think the most important thing is going to be when Uranus is going to change into Taurus, which is going to be next month. But I wanted to do a review. I think, or I suppose that if you are following astrology, you have already heard about the energy of Uranus in Aries. So I only want to do a very short summary of it. This month, Mars is into Aries until the 14th of the month. And that means that the first part of the month is a good time to put activity and put energy in whatever that we want to do. It's a very good time to follow our desires. Mars in Aries is totally about following our desires. That means that it's not the time to put ourselves a barrier to do it. As I'm going to tell later, sorry, there are some other planets that are going to put barriers to it, but there's another issue. But it's the best time until the 14th to keep on moving to our desires. That means that if we really want to do something, is the opportunity to do it, even if we only have little time to do it. I mean, the thing is that this month is the time where you have to say to life, I want to do this, and maybe I have all the time to do it, then I'm going to do it. But in the case that we only have very little time, only 1 hour each week, I am going to do it anyway because it's my desire and I'm going to do it. Life can only put delays in our movement, but it's not the time to let circumstances to put the stop to our movement. It's a time to keep on, no matter how little can be. It's a time to express ourselves, and especially to it's not the time to let others to attack us. I mean, it's a time that no matter how the circumstances out are, is a time where we have to keep to stay firm in our position. That means that sometimes we have all the energy to do it. I mean, for example, we have an argument with someone and we have our point of view, or we have our position, and the other person is trying to make us stop in doing whatever. And we have all the force to go on, then it's the time to do it. But in the case that you have a circumstance and you have people around you that are making your life very difficult to go on doing what you want to do, is the time to stay in your position, just the weight or the amount of energy that you can. That means that, for example, in my case, I have decided to start these videos, and it's not really the best time to start making these videos because it's not the time where I am more free. It's not the time where I feel with more strength, and I have been without speaking English for a long time, so it's not the best time to start it. But it was my desire, and even if it's only one video a month, I'm going to do it, even if my English is not in the first in the best position, even if my time is not the best. But I really want to do it, and I'm going to move. even if some people are going to criticize me, or they are going to think, oh, you are not so good or whatever. So this is the energy that Mars in Aries is putting into your life until the 14th. That no matter how you are, or how your circumstances are, you have to go on. And even if they are criticizing you, or they are trying to be against you, then you have to stay in your position as much as you can. Even if they are attacking you, you have to stay in your position as much as you can, even if sometimes that means that you can only do it with a little of energy. And that's really important. And that's because this month we have 3 planets in Sagittarius, in Capricorn, sorry. One planet is Pluto, that has been into Capricorn for since 2008. And Pluto in Capricorn, it's about putting in intensity, putting power into the energy of Capricorn. The energy of Capricorn, we can say a lot of things, but it's very much about the rules and the protocol that we want to use in our lives. This protocol is determined by 2 things. One thing is the reality of the outside, and another thing is the reality of the inside. That means that, for example, if I want to make these videos, I have to have a good knowledge, or a good take into account of the reality of the outside. That means that it's not the same if I have a camera or I don't have it. It's not the same that I have the time or I don't have it. It's not the same that if I have a job or I don't have it, if I have the money or I don't have it, if I have the knowledge of English or I don't have it, and so on. And it's not the same if I don't take into account the inner reality. What is the inner reality? That, for example, it's better for me to record the videos in the morning, because in the afternoon I don't have time, or I don't have the mood to do it. Or if I am suffering an illness, then it's not the best time to do the videos. Anyway, that what Capricorn energy means is that you have one reality in the outside, and that is about money, it's about time, it's about if you have help or you don't have it, if you have responsibilities or you don't have it. And you have to take that into account, because that is putting a line or a limit in what you can do or you cannot do. And taking into account the reality of the outside, the outer reality, means that I am talking now about Mars in Aries. If you have one desire and you take into account the outer reality, that thing is not about if you can do it or you cannot do it. It's about all the circumstances that you have to move and to make real this desire. What does it mean? It means that if, for example, I have the desire of studying, and I want to study one career, and that career it's let's say 4 years, and I need $1,000 each year to pay the career. It's not the same if I have the money or if I don't have it. Let's say that I can only have $500 each year. Then what is taken into account the other reality means that if I have this desire, I have to adapt the way that I am moving into that desire to that reality. And what does it mean? That I'm not going to manage, at least by now, to accomplish, to finish this career in 4 years. I'm going to need 8 years because I only have half of the money that is required to make the registration of this in this career. And that is what is now in the sky, that is making us put a limit to move forward to our desires, the outer reality. But we also have to take into account the inner reality. And what does it mean? That maybe in the same example, I have the desire to study, but I know that I need let's say 1 hour to study each theme, and I have 100 themes, so I know that I'm going to need 100 hours, and because of my circumstances I only have 50 hours. Then what does it mean? That maybe if I had the chance, or my brain was different and I could learn the themes not in 1 hour but in 10 minutes, then the things were going to be different. But I need by now to take that into account, so that means that I cannot study 100 themes. I cannot study 50 things because my brain only make me do it, my brain and the time that I have outside. So that is also a limit to my desire. And these two energies sometimes are not working very well, because when I have a desire, also I have impatience, and I have the urge to do it. And the limits are saying to myself, you can do it, but you have to take into account your limits. But they can work very well together if we understand that sometimes a limit is not a no, is something that it's talking about time, that we need more time or we need less time, or we need to what I call a bridge to build a new reality and a new circumstance to have more facility to accomplish our desire. For example, let's say that I don't have the money, so I decide 1 year to work in something that is totally different, because I want to have the money to pay my career. Then that is what I call the bridge. I am working in something because it's a bridge that it's allowing me to make a link between my present and the desire that I want to accomplish in the future. What is happening right now is that in this energy of rules and limits, we have three planets. One is Pluto, as I told you, that has been here since 2008, sorry. And another one is Saturn. Saturn is the planet that is associated to Capricorn, so it's more of the same thing. And we have this planet from the end of 2017. And this month, specifically this month, from the 4th of the month, we have Venus. So Pluto, what is making is that is the time to ask ourselves if the rules or the limits that we are putting in our life are real, or are the result of limits that we have taken from the outside. Let's explain it. For example, it's not the same that if I take into account that, as I told you, I can only study 50 themes, that if I take into account that when I was a child, my parents or my teachers told me that I was stupid, it's not the same, because if I take into account this, then I'm going to say I cannot decide because I am stupid, and that is a bad limit, because I am not taking into account my inner reality. I'm taking into account the negative message that I have received when I was little. Another thing, it's about my real desires. It's not the same if as I told you, I want to study. If I study medicine because I really want to do it, than if I study medicine because my parents told me that it was great to study medicine, but I haven't I haven't taken the time to think if that career is what I want to do, or it's only what my parents want me to do, and that's a difference. And that is what is happening since 2008, and we have been into the effects of Pluto into Capricorn, and that means that Pluto usually the way that it operates is that it makes more toxic and more negative to keep on, in this case, using bad limits or bad rules than changing. That means that if we are following some rules that are not really our rules, but the rules of someone else, then the level of toxicity is going to be so huge that we are going to feel really like if our life is poison. For example, if we are following the desires that are not ours but of someone else, or if we are putting the limits that are not really ours but of someone else. So Pluto in Capricorn, what needs is to take into account that we have to from time to time think about what the rules and what the limits are in our lives, and if they are toxic or not. One good limit is, for example, if I want to improve my feet, I want to improve the way that I do sports, then I have to take into account if I have good shape, or if I have a good training, a previous good training or not. That is a good limit, because I cannot pretend to train, let's say, 2 hours each day if I have been 10 years without doing anything. That's a good limit. But there's not a good limit if I say, well, I'm going to train 2 hours each day because I am I am responsible. No, you are not responsible. You are not taking into account your inner reality, and that's not a good thing. But also is not a good thing if you just say, well, my parents told me that I am not good in sports, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to do anything. That's another bad thing. What Venus is doing this month, and is very good, especially in the first time and in the first half of the month until the 14th, is that it's saying, well, you can follow your rules and your limits that are mine, but your outer reality and your inner reality, but you can do it in a harmonious way, in a soft way. Or let's say you can do it with a rhythm that it's easy to handle. So for example, if you have a desire and you have limits outside, that means that you have to take into account these limits, but you cannot, you have to do it in a with a rhythm that it's easy to handle. Sometimes the thing is that we have the desire and we have the limits, and we want to break these limits so far, and we want the things very quickly. And what Venus is saying is you can have what you want. You have to take into account your limits of your inner reality and your outer reality, but you have to take into account that time is something that can play in your favor. Let's say that you don't need to take a big amount of effort every day, because maybe in the long run it's going to be very heavy. You can take only a short or a little level of effort, and then you're going to accomplish what you want. But the thing is that you need more time, and that is what Venus is doing right now. So it's good to make the most of it and take advantage of it, saying this month I can do what I want to do, but maybe I'm not going to finish right now. I'm going to need 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, 10 years. But I told you that it's better to finish something in 10 years than to stop or to quit it only because it's very far away in the time. And that is what is learning us the energy of this month. We have Jupiter in Sagittarius since October of last year, and it's going to be until November of this year. Jupiter in Sagittarius is great because it's talking about some things. But before that, I have to say that Venus has been in Sagittarius until the 3rd, and I'm not going to talk about it because as I told you, Venus is going to be in Capricorn since the 4th of this month, and I think it's more important because only 3 days I'm not going to talk about it, and it's more important to talk about Jupiter in Sagittarius. Jupiter is the planet associated to Sagittarius, so it's very comfortable in this position. And Jupiter in Sagittarius, it's about the energy of Sagittarius and the energy of Jupiter is about improvement, and they really improve the quality of our life. And what is improving the quality of our life? It's something so simple that we are doing what we really are motivated to do. It's not about the desire, because the desire is I want this or I don't want it. It's something more developed. It's something more about that thing makes my soul have joy. It's about motivation. So it's something so simple to say, I am doing in my life the things that really make me feel good. And that means two things, because one thing is the motivation. I mean, I am doing in my life what I really makes me happy. For example, if I have a motivation, then I do it. If I have a plan, I have a goal, then I move into that goal because it's something that I want really to improve. That is the thing. It's about all the things that make our life more happy. So it has a component of the global picture, because for example, if I have a goal and it's about the job, then it's very good, but I have to be the whole picture, because if I am going to fulfill a goal, and that means I'm going to have less time to my friends or less time to my hobbies or whatever, then maybe that goal is not so good if I am watching the whole picture. So that means that I'm going to move into a goal, but moving into that goal is going to improve my whole life, not only this area. That is the energy of Sagittarius. So I have to choose very well my goals, and I had to take into account that because the level of energy that I am investing in this goal, because sometimes if I am putting myself a lot of things, then what in the beginning was supposed to be joyful is becoming mm, a negative thing, because I feel tired, or I feel that I cannot handle all the things. So Jupiter in Sagittarius is working very good with the energy of Capricorn and the energy of especially Venus in Capricorn this month, because it's saying you can have a goal. For example, you can have the goal of improving some of your skills, or improving your feet, your body, or improving your knowledge, or maybe you have another type of goal, just enjoy more your life. But for example, if you have the goal of enjoying more your life and you need more time, and this time makes you stop or reduce the number of hours that you are working, then in theory it's a good goal. But if that means that you're going to have less money, and that in the long run and in the whole picture is not going to be so good, then it's not so good. Because so Jupiter in Sagittarius is saying us you can improve the happiness of your life, but you have to take into account not only one thing that you are improving, but if this thing is going to improve your whole life, is what is saying Jupiter in Sagittarius. So it's opened a lot of doors and a lot of ways, a lot of paths to walk, but we have to be very careful in choosing these paths. And I am putting my example. I really wanted to do these videos, but I cannot say, well, I want to do videos in English, so I am going to do, I don't know, 12 videos each month, as I am doing in the Spanish channel, because I know I'm not going to have time. And maybe I can manage to do it, but that means that I'm not going to have time to stay with my friends, or to even to rest. So in the long run, it's going to be something that improves the quality of my life, but it's going to be the opposite. Another thing that Jupiter in Sagittarius is bringing us is that the most joy of our life is the joy of living our life, following our beliefs, and that means following what we think is it has justice, and what we think, and not following what we think is not related to justice. And what does it mean? That if I think that something is unfair, then what I have to do is not doing it, because if I do something that I think is unfair, my conscience is going to feel guilty, and that is not going to bring joy in our life. If I follow something that I think is fair, then my conscience is going to feel realized. So I'm going to be more joyful, and that means several things. One thing is that I have to have clear what I think is fair and what I think is unfair, and I had to preach with my example, with the things that I do and with the things that I allow or not allow the others do to myself. That means that if something is unfair, it's unfair, even if it's something that is going to make me benefits in my life or not. it's unfair, so I am not supposed to do it, and I am not supposed to let others do to me. That is what is Jupiter in Sagittarius bringing us. Jupiter in Sagittarius is opening new paths, as I told you, new possibilities, and it's good that we follow new possibilities, but we have to take into account two things. One is that no possibility is good if it's making us do unfair things, things that we think that are unfair. And another thing is that no path is good if it's going to improve only one thing but not the whole thing, or the whole, or our whole life. um, what this year, this month, sorry, is bringing us is also the possibility of making a brainstorm of ideas, especially until the 10th, because we have Mercury in Aquarius. Mercury in Aquarius is saying, okay, you have the chance, because Jupiter in Sagittarius, to improve your life, and improve your life makes that that you can you have several paths to follow, and if you choose some other paths or these paths, then you are going to improve the quality of your life. But that in a way can be accelerated if you make or allow yourself to make changes. And if you want to incorporate in your life the energy of change, then first of all you have to think about it. And think about it is what Mercury in Aquarius until the 10th is bringing us. So it's good that you write in a paper all the ideas that you have, ideas about your future, and no, it's no, there's no matter if this future is crazy. For example, if I want to go to the moon, I want to travel to a place, and I know I don't have the money, and so on. I want to be a famous singer. I want to have 10 years less than my age. You had to write all your ideas, the normal ones, and especially the most crazy or the craziest ones, because it's the first step. You have to think about it, and then it's good that you see each idea and see the ways that you in which you can approach to this idea. For example, I want to be 10 years younger. That's something that is crazy because I can know back in time. But that idea can connect me to say, well, okay, I want to look 10 years younger. Then I'm going to be to see what can I do. Maybe I can train more, or I can change the way that I eat, or whatever. I want to go to the moon. Well, maybe I am not going to go to the moon because I don't have the money, and so on. But I can do something more related to astrology, for example, or I can go into an exposition that is about the moon, or I can go to some place that are making courses about the solar system, for example. So it's good to put the idea in the best level of craziness, and then see how you can approach to this idea. From the 10th of the month onwards, Mercury is going to be into Pisces. And Mercury into Pisces, it's about putting the energy of the mind into what I called the global sensation. This is a sign or energy, and Neptune is into Pisces since 2011, more or less. So it's more or less the same energy. Pisces is about the sensation that we have, and it's not related to what is happening. It's only related to what our soul is feeling, and that is related to our level of illusion and our level of disillusionment. That means that, for example, if I am talking about love, I can have outside the best boyfriend, and my soul can feel disillusion because I am also, or I am still holding the deception or of a past love that made my soul feel broken. So if that happens, the reality it's not the reason that I am feeling disillusion. The reason is the way that my soul is still holding with that thing of the past. And let's say the opposite thing. My soul is full of illusion because I believe in life, and outside I don't have a boyfriend, but I am happy because I believe that someday I'm going to find the love that I deserve. It's important to understand this energy of Pisces because sometimes I talk about the energy of Pisces as a filter. Let's say the reality is the picture, and Pisces is the filter, and that we have two kinds of filter. One is the black filter, and another one is the light, the filter that put light into that picture. The black filter is caused by all the disillusions, and these disillusions can come from dreams that have never fulfilled. Can come from, for example, circumstances or people that I have had in my life, but they have gone because they are dead, or it's a love that I have lost, or whatever. Or they can come because I had one dream and it was fulfilled, but I lost it, and it ended. What we are supposed to do with that is just let all the energy go out, but not recreate it in this energy. That means that if, for example, I am missing someone, I have to let myself from time to time express this sadness because I am missing a love that I have, a period of my life that I had, etc. But this area is double. That means that if I have had something, I have to let go the energy of disillusion because I miss this. But I have also always good that I connect with the fact that I had that love, that experience, that dream, and I remember this moment or this sensation, that sensation. What I am not supposed to do is to say, well, everything is fine, everything is beautiful, I'm going to have all my dreams fulfilled, and not connect to the disillusionment, because that is putting too much light filter in the picture, and that if it's excessive, then what is causing is that we are not seeing the picture. We're just seeing one light, and that is not reality. So Mercury, it's about doing this thing with the memories, and doing this thing with the ideas that we have about our future. Let's say, um, if I am in a situation and I don't know what is going to happen, I don't really know, so it's uncertain what is going to happen. But depending on the energy of Pisces, I can deal with it in two different ways. One is if I have a lot of black filter, a lot of disillusionments, and then I'm going to think, oh well, I am not going to have it, and that is very bad, and life is not fair with me. And if I have a lot of light filter, is oh well, I'm going to manage no matter how I am, and life is going to take care of me. The good thing is to keep the black filter in a low position, and the light filter in a higher position, but not going into streams, because it's very bad if we have a lot of black filter, but it's also very bad if we have an excess of light filter, because one is making us letting disillusionment is making our sensation negative, and another one is making us living a fantasy, because reality can be negative, but we can have the faith that is going to change, and that is right. But what is not right is to see reality as a light, because then we are not seeing the real reality. So it's good to remember our good things, the things that we had, and let go the disillusionment if we don't have these things right now. But also remember that we have them, and that happens, and or that happened, and it's something that can happen again. And if we are in a bad sensation or in a bad mood, because there are some dreams that have never come true, um, then what we have to do is to remember some dreams that maybe we didn't have, but they do come true, or they did come true. It's something that we have to or we can do to manage this energy, or to learn to manage this energy. From the 14th onwards, we have Mars in Taurus. And Mars in Taurus is something that is related to put energy in our self-esteem and in our resources. And that can work really, really good with the energy of Capricorn. That means that Mars in Taurus is saying, well, you have your limits from the outside and from the inside, but you have some talents and you have some skills, and you have some people around you that can make yourself feel better, because they treat you like you value, and you have value, and you have some circumstances and some people around you that treat you the opposite, that they don't make you feel that you have value. Mars in Taurus is saying us to make something, to invest in the people and in the circumstances that make us feel with a higher self-esteem, and make something with the people and the circumstances that make us feel with a lower self-esteem, but also from the inner. Let's say I had to do something that makes me feel with a higher self-esteem, and I had to stop doing something that makes me feel with a lower self-esteem. So making actions in the outside and in the inside, I can improve a lot my self-esteem. What can happen from the 14th onwards can be that it's going to be less easy for us if we are into a toxic environment, or we are dealing with people that makes us feel with a lower self-esteem, even if we haven't realized before. So we are more compelled to fight if someone is treating us with a level of respect, or a level of treatment that is less than we think we deserve. But the thing is that maybe there's not a big difference between the treatment that we are having now from the 14th and the treatment that we had before. The thing is that we are more willing to react to that. So you have to be careful, because what is about is to give ourselves the right to be treated with respect. And this is one thing. Another thing is to, let's say, throw our negativity in the outside, and you have to be really careful with that. So this is the video about the energies of the of February of 2019. As I told you, it's really important for me to start this new adventure. I hope that you understand. It's my first time in English for a long time. I'm sure that my English and my speech is going to be improving from now onwards with all the videos. But anyways, if there is something that is not enough understood, just write me comments, and if you have one suggestion or something, then I really appreciate your comments and sharing and liking and all these things. I hope you enjoy this month, and I see you next video.